sorry about that. I had a call in the middle, but we're gonna read this. All right. It's funny because the person who had just called me was literally a guy. I was going to Walgreens. I met on the street. I was like, I'll go talk to him. So I went to go talk to him, and we related. We related heavily. We touched on a lot of things that what's going on in the community. It's just not me that's going through this confusion, these problems. It's a lot of black men. It's a lot of men in general that's going through these problems because in some type of way we have been failed. We have been failed by the people ahead of us, and but it is what it is, bro. We gotta make a change. We gotta get this knowledge for ourselves. We gotta study for ourselves. Because God, He's putting in our spirits. In this generation, if you pay attention, a lot of people are starting to be quick with the Holy Spirit. A lot of people are getting their Bible. I don't know if it's because it's trendy or because people are scared, but it's a good thing that people are still getting the Word in them, and it's everybody is going to get closer to God. I believe that God will make it a decision, where it's going to be like you either choose me or you choose the same stuff that you've been choosing. And so I believe that God, He will work with you to the point where He's going to make it obvious, like super obvious, what's going on. Because it's like right now I feel like it's baby food. It's baby food. I gotta eat. I'm eating more and more the word so I can get it in larger chapters and I can really understand the whole picture. Because in this book, bro, and in SirAch, it said, "Do not open your heart towards a man." And literally, I feel like I just done that to the person I just talked to, and I feel like I done that. I kind of done it in a way, but I wasn't too open. I told him about the situation I was going through, like being gullible. Now, that's something that I caught on to, because I said, because I was trying to test him, bro. I gave him the story. I give this gullible story of me with women, and I kind of test people, and I see what they do and how they view me emotionally. Because I know when people look at a gullible or somebody green, it's like an instant target to them. Like, oh, I can use them. And I don't know why. It's not, some genuine people that's, oh, let me help this person. But it's like, it always turns out to be, let me use this person. Let me figure out how I can make this person a part of me or something. And it's weird, bro. But we're going to get right back into SirAch. SirAch. I still don't know if I'm saying that right, but we're starting at chapter 10. And so, wise magistrate leads stability to his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the people judge, so are his ministries. As the head of a city as its inhabitants. A wanton king destroys his people, but a city grows through the wisdom of his princes. Sovereignty over the earth is in the hand of God, who raises up the man of the hour. Sovereignty over every man is the hand of God, who imparts His majesty to the ruler. Okay? Now, the sin of pride. No matter the wrong, do no violence to your neighbor. Do not walk with the path of arrogance. Odious to the Lord and to the man is arrogance. And the sin of oppression they both hate. Domain is transferred from one people to another, but the violence of the arrogant wire dust and ashes proud. Even during life, man's body decays. A slight illness, the doctor jests. A king's today, tomorrow's the head is dead. When a man dies, he inherits corruption, worms and gnats and maggots. The beginning of pride is man's stubbornness, and withdrawing his heart from his maker, for pride is the reserve of sin. A source which runs over with vice. Because of it, God sends unheard of afflictions and brings men to utter ruin. The thrones of arrogant gods overturns and establish the lowly in their stead. The roots of the proud God plucks up to plant the humble in their place. He breaks down their stem to the level of the ground, and then digs their roots up from the earth. The traces of the proud man sweeps away and effaces the memory of those from the earth. Insolence is not allotted to the man, nor stubborn anger to one born of a woman. Which offspring are in honor those who fear God? Whose offspring can be in disgrace those of men? Which offspring are in disgrace? Those who transgress the commandments? Among brethren, their leader is in honor. Who fears God is in honor among his people. Be it tenant or wayfarer, alien or pauper, his glory is the fear of the Lord. It is not just the despised man who is wise but poor, nor proper to honor any sinner. The prince, the ruler, the judge are in honor, but none is greater than he who fears God. When free man serves a prudent slave, the wise man does not complain. Flaunt not your vision in managing your affairs, and boast not in your time of need. Better the works who has plenty of everything than a booster who is without bread. My son, with merely have esteem, prize yourself as you deserve. Who will acquaint him with condemns himself, who honor him will discredit himself. The poor man is honored for his wisdom, as the rich man is honored for his wealth. Honor and poverty, how much more so in wealth? Dishonor in wealth and poverty, how much the more? Okay, let's read that again, because I am quite lost in this scripture. So the poor man is honored for his wisdom, as the rich man is honored for his wealth. Honor in poverty, how much more so in wealth? Dishonor in wealth and poverty, how much the more? Chapter 11. The poor man wisdom lifts his head high and sets him among princes. Praise not a man for his looks, despise not a man for his appearance. Least is the bee among winged things. But she reaps the choicest of all harvests. Mock not the worn cloak, and jibe at no man's bitter days. For strange are the works of the Lord, hid from the man's deeds. The oppressed often rise to a throne, and some none will consider wear a crown. The exalted often fall into utter disgrace. The honored are given to enemy hands. The exalted are often fall. Okay, let's read this again. I'm probably gonna be doing this because I have to get this installed. Mock not the worn cloak, and jibe at no man's bitter days. For strange are the works of the Lord, hid from men's his deeds. The oppressed often rise to a throne, and some that none will consider wear a crown. The exalted often fall into utter disgrace. The honored are given into the enemy hands. Moderation. Before investigating, find no fault, examine first, then criticize. Before hearing, answer not, and interrupt no one in the middle of his speech. Dispute not about what is your concern, and the strife of the arrogant take no part. My son, why increase your cares? Since he who is avid for wealth will not be blameless. Even if you run after it, you will overtake it. However you seek it, you will not find it. One may toil and struggle and drive and fall short all the more. Another goes his way weakly and a failure, with little strength and great misery, yet the eyes of the Lord look favorably upon him. He rises him free of the vile dust, lifts up his head and exalts him, to the amazement of many. God and evil, life and death, poverty and riches are from the Lord. Wisdom and understanding and knowledge of affairs, love the virtuous path are from the Lord. Error and darkness were formed with sinners from the birth, and evil grows old with evildoers. The Lord gives remains with the just. He favors being continued success. A man may become rich through a man may become rich through a minister's life, and this is his allotted reward. When he says, I have found rest, now I will feast on my possessions, he does not know how long it will be till he dies and leaves them to others. My son, hold fast to your duty. Busy yourself with it. Grow old while doing your task. Admire not how sinners live, but trust in the Lord and wait for his light, for it is easy with the Lord. Subtly in an instant to make a poor man rich. God blessing in the lot of the just man, and in due time his hopes bear fruit. Say not, what do I need? What further pleasure can be mine? Say not, I am independent. What harm can come to me now? The day of prosperity makes one forget adversity. The day of adversity makes one forget prosperity. For it's easy with the Lord on the day of death, to repay a man according to his deeds. A moment's affliction brings forgetfulness of the past delights. When a man dies, his life is revealed. Call no man happy before his death, for by how he ends, a man is known. Care in choosing friends. Bring not every man into your house, for many are the snares of crafty one. Though he seem like a bird confirmed in a cage, yet like a spy he will pick out the weak spots. The talebearer turns good into evil. With a spark he sets many coals of fire. The evil man lies in wait for blood and plots against your choices of possession. Avoid a wicked man, for he breeds only evil, lest you clear a lasting stain. Lodge a stranger with you, and he will subvert your course, and make a stranger of you to your own household. Chapter 12. If you do good, know for whom you are doing it, and your kindness will have its effect. Do good to just the man, do good to the just man, and reward will be yours. If not from him, from the Lord, no good comes to him, who gives comfort to the wicked, nor is it any act of mercy that he does. Give to the good man, refuse the sinner, refresh the downtrodden, give nothing to the proud man. No arms for combat shall you give him, lest he use them against yourself. With twofold evil you will meet. For every good deed you do for him, the Most High himself hates sinners, and upon the wicked he takes vengeance. Now, let's read that over. If you do good, know whom you are doing it, and your kindness will have its effect. Do good to just the man, and the reward will be yours, if not from him, from the Lord. No good comes to him who gives comfort to the wicked, nor is an act of mercy that he does. Give to the good man, refuse the sinner, refresh the downtrodden, give nothing to the proud man. No arms for combat should you give him, lest he use them against you. With twofold evil you will meet. For every good deed you do for him, the Most High himself hates sinners, and upon the wicked he takes vengeance. In our prosperity we cannot know our friends. In adversity an enemy will not remain concealed. In adversity an enemy will not remain concealed. When a man is successful, even his enemy is friendly. In adversity, even his friends disappear. Never trust your enemy, for his wickedness is like corrosion in bronze. Even though he acts humbly and peacefully towards you, take care to be on your guard against him. Rub him as one polishes a brazen mirror, and you will find that there is still corrosion. Let him not stand near you, lest he oust you and take your place. Let him not sit at your right hand, lest he then demand your seat, and then end your apprentice my advice. Will you groan with regret as I warned you? Who pities a snake charmer when he is bitten? Or anyone who goes near a wild beast, so is with a companion of the proud man, who is involved in his sins. While you stand firm, he makes no bold move. But if you slip, he cannot hold back. With his lips, an enemy speaks sweetly, but in his heart schemes to plunge you into the abyss. Though your enemy has tears in his eyes, if given a chance, he will never have enough of your blood. If evil comes upon you, you will find him at hand. Fiending to help, he will trip you up, and he will nod his hand and clap his hands, and hiss repeatedly and show his true face. He who associates with an imperious man learns his ways. Bear no burden too heavy for you. Go with no greater or wealthier than yourself. How can the earthen pot go with the metal cauldron? When they knock together, the pot will be smashed. The rich man is not wrong and boasts of it. The poor man is wrong and begs forgiveness. As long as the rich man can use you, he will enslave you. But when you are exalted, he will abandon you. As long as you have anything, he will speak fair words to you, and with smiles he will win your confidence. When he needs something from you, he will cajole you. Then with regret he will impoverish you. While it serves his purpose, he will beguile you. Then twice or three times he will terrify you. When later he sees, he will pass you by, shake his head over you. Guard against being presumptuous. Be not as those who lack sense. When invited by a man of influence, keep your distance. Then he will urge you all the more. Be not bold with him, lest you be rebuffed. But keep not too far away, lest you be forgotten. Engage not freely in discussion with him. Trust not his manly words. Trust not his many words. For prolonged talk he will test you, and through smiling he will probe you. Mercifully he will make of you a laughing stock. and will not refrain from injuries of chains. Be on guard and take care never to accompany men of violence. Every living thing loves its own kind. Every man a man likes himself. Every being is drawn to his own kind with his own kind. Every man associates. Is a wolf ever aligned with the lamb? So it's with a sinner and the just can there be peace between the hyena and the dog, or between the rich and the poor can there be peace. Lions prey are the wild asses of the desert, and so too the poor are feeding grounds for the rich. A proud man adores lowliness, so does the rich man adore the poor. When a rich man stumbles, he is supported by a friend. When a poor man trips, he is pushed down by a friend. Many are the supporters for a rich man when he speaks. The way he says is odious, it wins approval. When a poor man speaks, they make sport of him. He speaks wisely, and no attention is paid him. A rich man speaks, and all are silent. His wisdom they exalt to the clouds. A poor man speaks, they say, "Who is that?" If he slips, they cast him down. Wealth is good when there is no sun, but poverty is evil by standards of the proud. Okay, wealth is good when there is no sin, but poverty is evil by the standards of the proud. The heart of a man changes his countenance, either for good or for evil. The sign of a good heart is a cheerful countenance. Withdrew and perplexed is the laborer schemer. Chapter 14. Happy the man whose mouth brings him no grief, who is not stung by remorse for sin. Happy the man whose consciousness does not reproach him, who has not lost hope. The use of wealth. Wealth ill becomes the mean man. Wealth ill becomes the mean man into the misery of what uses gold. Into the misery of what uses gold. What he defines himself, he collects for others, and in his possessions a stranger will reveal. To whom will he be generous who is stingy with himself, does not enjoy what is his own? None is more stingy than he who is stingy with himself. He who punishes his own miscellaneous. Hold on, let's read this over. To whom will he be generous who is stingy with himself and does not enjoy what is his own? None is more stingy than he who is stingy with himself. He punishes his own miserableness. If ever he is generous, it is by mistake, and in the end he displays his greed. In the misery of pain he shares too small. He refuses his neighbor and brings ruin on himself. The miser's eyes is rapacious for bread, but on his own table he sets it stale. My son, use freely whatever you have and enjoy it as best as you can. Remember, the death does not tarry, nor have you been told the grave appointed time. Before you die, be good to your friend. Give him shame in what you possess, and give him share in what you possess. Deprive not yourself of present good things. Let no choice portion escape you. Will not you leave your riches to others, and your earnings to divide by lot? Give, take, and treat yourself well, for in neither the world there are no joys to seek. All flesh grows old like a garment. The age-old law is all must die, as with leaves that grow on a vigorous tree. One falls off and another sprouts. So with the generous of flesh and blood, one dies, another one is born. All men's works will perish and decay, and his handiwork will follow after him. The search of wisdom and his blessings. Happy the man who meditates on wisdom and reflects on knowledge, who ponders her ways in his heart, who understands her path, who pursues her like a scout, lies in wait at her entryway, who peeps through her windows and listens at her doors, who encamps her near her house, and fastens her tent pegs next to her walls, who pinches his tent beside her and lives as her welcome neighbor, who builds his nest in his leafage and lodges in her branches, who takes shelter with her from the heat and dwells in her home. Chapter 15. He who fears the Lord will do this. He who is practicing the law will come to wisdom. Mother-like, she will meet him. Like a young bride, she will embrace him, nourish him with the bread of understanding, and give him the water of learning to drink. He will learn upon her and not fall. He will trust in her and not be put to shame. She will exalt him above his fellows. In assembly she will make him eloquent. Joy, gladness he will find. The everlasting name inherit. Worthless men will not attain to her. Haughty men will not behold her. Far from the appearance is she, not to be spoken by liars. Unseemly is praised by a sinner's lips. Unseemly is a praise on a sinner's lips, for it is not accorded to him by God. Praise is offered by the wise man's tongue. It is rightful, steward will proclaim it. Man's free will. Say not, it is God's doing that I fell away. For he hates, he does not do. Say not, it was he who set me astray. For he has no need of wicked man. Abominable wickedness the Lord hate, he does not let it befall those who fear him. When God is in the beginning, he created man. He made himself subject to his own free choice. If you choose, you can keep the commandments. It is loyalty to do his will. There are set before you fire and water. To whichever you choose, stretch forth your hand. For men are life and death. Whichever he chooses shall be given him. Immense is the wisdom of the Lord. He is the mighty in the power, and all seeing the eyes of God, seeing he has made. He understands man's every deed. No man does not command to sin, to none does he give strength for his lies. Chapter 16. God's punishment for sinners. Desire not a brood of worthless children, nor rejoice in wicked offspring. Many though they be exalted not in them. If they have not the fear of the Lord, consider not on their length of life, have no hope in their future. For one can be better than a thousand, rather than die childless than have a godless children. Through one wise man can a city be peopled. Through a clan of rebels it becomes desolate. Many such things has my eye seen, even more than these has my ear heard. Against a sinful band fire is enkindled. Upon a godless people wrath flames out. He forgives not the leaders of the old. He rebelled long ago in their might. He spared not their neighbors of loot, whom he desolate for the pride. Nor did he spare the doomed people who were uprooted because of their sin, nor the 600,000 foot soldiers who perished of the impiety of their hearts. And had there been but one stick-necked man, if he wanted, had he gone unpunished, for mercy and anger alike are with him, who remits and forgives through on a wicked lights his wrath. Great as his mercy is his punishment. He judges man according to his deeds. A criminal does not escape with his plunder. A just man's hope God does not leave unfulfilled. Whoever does good has his reward. Whoever each receives according to his deeds. Whoever does good has his reward. Whichever has received according to his deeds. Say not, I am hidden from God. In the heaven who remains me. Among so many people I cannot be known. What I am in the world of spirits. Behold the heavens, the heaven of heavens. The earth and the abyss tremble at his visitation. The roots of the mountain, the earth foundation, and his mere glance quiver and quake. Of me, therefore, he will take no thought. With my ways who will concern himself. If I sin, no eye will see me. If all in secret I am disloyal, who is to know? Who tells him of just deeds? And what could I expect of my doing my duty? Such are thoughts of senseless men, which only the foolish have all think. Divine wisdom seen in creation. Hearken to me, my son. Take my advice. Apply your mind to my words, while I propose measured wisdom and impart accurate knowledge. When at first God created his works, as he made them, assigned the task, he ordered for all time what they were to do, and their remains from generations to generation. They were not to hunger, nor grow weary, nor ever cease from their task. No one should ever crowd its neighbor, nor should they ever disobey his word. And then the Lord looked upon the earth and filled it with his blessings. Its surface he covered with all manner of life, which must return into it again. Let's read that again, bro, because that is a powerful chapter. Okay, so He ordered for all what they were to do he ordered for all time what they were to do in their domains from generation to generation. They were not to hunger, nor grow weary, nor even cease from their tasks. No one should ever crowd his neighbor, nor should they ever disobey his word. Then the Lord looked upon the earth and filled it with his blessings. Its surface he covered with all manner of life, which must return into it again. Powerful. Chapter 17. The Lord from earth created man, and in his own image he made him. Limited days of life he gives him, and makes him return to earth again. He endows men with the strength of his own, and with power over all things else on earth. He puts the fear of him in all flesh, and gives him rule over beasts and birds. He forms men tongues and eyes and ears, and imparts to them an understanding heart. With wisdom and knowledge he fills them. Good and evil he shows them. He looks with favor upon their hearts, and shows them his glorious works, that they may describe the wonders of his deeds, and praise his holy name. He has set before them knowledge, a law of life, as their inheritance. As everlasting covenant he has made with them. His commandments he has revealed to them. His majestic glory their eyes beheld. His glorious voice their ears heard. He says to them, avoid all evil. Each of them he gives precepts about his fellow men. The ways are ever known to him. They cannot be hidden from his eyes. Over every nation he places a ruler, but the Lord's own portion is Israel. All the actions are clear as the sun to him. His eyes are ever upon their ways. The wickedness cannot be hidden from him. All their sins are before the Lord. A man's goodness, God's cherished like a signet ring. A man virtue like the apple of his eye. Later he will rise up and repay them and requite each one of them as they deserve. Appeal for return to God, but to the permanent he provides a way back. He encourages those who are losing hope. Return to the Lord and give up sin. Pray to him and make your offenses few. Turn again to the Most High and away from sin. Hate intensely what he loathes. Who is neither world can glorify the Most High. In the place of the living who offer their praise. No more can the deed give praise than those who have never lived. And glorify the Lord who are alive and well. How great the mercy of the Lord, his forgiveness of those who return to him. The like cannot be found in man, for not immortal is any son of man. He is anything brighter than the sun. Is anything brighter than the sun, yet it can be eclipsed. How obscure the thoughts of flesh and blood. God watches over the host of heavens, while all men are dust and ashes. Chapter 18. The divine power and mercy. The Eternal is the judge of all things with exception. The Lord alone is just, whom has been made equal to describing his works. Who can probe his mighty deeds? Who can measure his majesty power or exalt the tale of his mercies? One cannot lessen, nor increase, nor penetrate the wonders of the Lord. When a man's end, he is the only beginning. When he stops, he is still bewildered. What is man of what worth is he? The good, the evil in him, what are these? The sum of man's days is great. If it has reached 100 years, like a drop of seawater, like a grain of sand, so are these few years among the days of eternity. That is why the Lord is patient with men, and showers upon them his mercy. He sees and understands that their deeds is grievous, and so he forgives them all the more. Man may be merciful to his fellow man, but the Lord's mercy reaches all flesh, reproving admonishing teaching as a shepherd guides his flock, merciful to those who accept his guidance, who are diligent in his precepts. The necessity of prudence. My son, to your charity, and no reproach, nor spoil any gift by harsh words, like dew that abates a burning wind. So does a word improve a gift. Okay, let's read that again, because I'm lost in that mildew wind. The necessity of prudence. My son, to your charity and no reproach, nor spoil any gift by harsh words, like dew that abates a burning wood. So does a word improve a gift? Sometimes the word means more than the gift. Both are offered by a kindly man. Only a fool upbraids before giving. A grudging gift wears out the expectant eyes. Be informed before speaking. Before sickness, prepare the cure. Before you are judged, seek merit for yourself. And at the time of visitation, you will have ransom. Before you are fallen, humble yourself. Before you have sinned, show repentance. Delay not to forsake sins. Neglect it not till you are in distress. Let nothing prevent the prompt payment of your vows. Wait not to fulfill them when you are dying. Before making a vow, have the means to fulfill it. Be not one who tries the Lord. Think of wrath in the day of death, the time of vengeance when he will hide his face. Remember the time of hunger and the time of plenty, poverty, want in the day of the wealth. Between morning and evening the weather changes. Before the Lord all things are fleeting. A wise man is a circumspect in all things. When sin is rife, he keeps himself from wrongdoing. Any learned man should make his wisdom known, and he who attains to her should declare her praise. Those who train in her words must show their wisdom. Dispensing sounds proverbs like life-giving waters. Self-control. Go not after your lust, but keep your desires in check. If you sanctify your lustful appetite, they will make you the sport of your enemies. Have no joy in the pleasures of a moment, which bring on poverty, redouble. Become not a glutton and a wine bitter, with nothing in your purse. Chapter 19. Who does not sow grows no richer. He who wastes the little, who does not grows no richer. He who wastes the little he has will be stripped bare. Wine and woman make the mind giddy, and the consumption of harlots becomes reckless. He who lightly trusts in them has no sense, and he who strays after them sins against his own life. Rottenness and worms will possess him, for consummation desires destroys its owner. The proper use of speech. He who gloats over evil will meet evil, and he who repeats an evil report has no sense. Let's read that again. The proper use of speech. He who gloats over evil will meet the evil, and he who repeats an evil report has no sense. Never repeat gossip, and you will not be reviled. Never tell nothing to a friend or foe if you have a fault. Reveal it not, for he who hears it will hold it against you, and in time become your enemy. Let anything you hear die within you. Be assured it will not make you burst. When a fool hears something, he is in labor, like a woman giving birth to a child, like an arrow lodged in a man's thigh. It is gossip in the breast of a fool. Admonish your friend, he may not have done it, and if he did, that he may not do it again. Admonish your neighbor, that he may not have said it, and if he did, that he may not say it again. Admonish your friend often, may be slandered. Every story you must not believe, then to a man can slip and not mean it, who has not sinned with his tongue. Admonish your neighbor before you break with him. Thus will you fulfill the law of the Most High. How to recognize true wisdom. All wisdom is fear of the Lord. Perfect wisdom is the fulfillment of the law. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, nor is the prudence of the counsel of sinners. There is no shrewdness that is detestable, while the simple man may be free from sin. There are those with little understanding who fear God, those of great intelligence who violate the law. There is great shrewdness, keen but dishonest, but by duplicity wins a judgment. Let's read that again. There is shrewd, keen but dishonest, which by duplicity wins a judgment. There is the free wicked man who is bowed in grief, but is full of guile within. There is a wicked man who is bowed in grief, but is full of guile within. He bows his head and feigns not to hear, but when not observed, he will take advantage of you. Even though his lack of strength keeps him from sinning, when he finds opportunity, he will do harm. One can tell a man by his appearance. A wise man is known as such when first kept. A wise attire his heart laughly, and his gad proclaim him for what he is. Chapter 20. Conduct of the wise and the foolish. An Adamish can be inopportune. An Adamish can be inopportune, and a man may be wise to hold his peace. It is much better to Adamish than those to lose one's temper. We have to look up Adamish. We have to look up this word. Okay, so let's start this over. Chapter 20. Conduct of the wise and the foolish. An Adamish can be inopportune, and a man may be wise to hold his peace. It is much better to Adamish than to lose one's temper. For one who admits his fault will be kept from disgrace. Like Enoch, lusting for intimacy with a maid. Is he who does right under compulsion. One man is silent and is thought wise. Another is talkative and disliked. One man is silent because he has nothing to say. Another is silent, binding his time. A wise man is silent till the right time comes. But a boasting fool ignores the proper time. He who talks too much is destined. He who talks too much is detested. He who pretends to authority is hated. Some misfortunes bring success. Some misfortunes bring success. Some things gained are a man's loss. Some gifts do no one good, and some must be paid back double. Humiliation can follow fame, while from obscurity a man can lift up his head. A man may buy much for little, but pay it for 7 times over. A wise man must make himself popular by a few words. The fool pour forth their blandishments in their vain. A gift from a rogue will do you no good. For his eyes, his one gift is equal to 7. Let's read that again. A gift from a rogue will do you no good. For his eyes, his one gift is equal to 7. He gives little and criticizes often. And like a crier, he shouts aloud. And lends today, he asks it back tomorrow. Hateful indeed is such a man. A fool has no friends, nor thankful for his generosity. Those who eat his bread have an evil tongue. How many times have they laughed him to scorn? A fall to the ground is less sudden than a slip of the tongue. This is why the downfall of the wicked comes so quickly. Inspired fool is the ultimate tale. The unruly are always ready to offer it. A proverb when spoken by a fool is unwelcome, for he does not utter it at the proper time. A man through want may be Let's read this again. A proverb when spoken by a fool is unwelcome, for he does not utter it at the proper time. A man though want may be unable to sin, yet in his tranquility he cannot rest. One may lose his life through shame and perish through a fool's intimidation. A man makes a promise to a friend out of shame, and he has him for his enemy needlessly. A lie is a foul blot in a man, yet is constantly on the lips of the unruly. Better a thief than an inveterate liar. Better than a thief than an inveterate liar, yet both will suffer disgrace. A liar way leads to dishonor, and shame remains ever with him. A wise man evinces himself by his words. A prudent man pleases the great. He who works his land has abundant crops. He who pleases the great is pardoned his faults. Favors and gifts the blind eye. Like a muzzle over the mouth, they silence and reproof him. Hidden wisdom in the unseen treasure of what value is entered. Better than a man who hides his folly than one who hides his wisdom. Damn, that's deep for me. Chapter 21. Sin must be avoided. My son, if you have not sinned, do no more. For your past sins pray to be forgiven. Flee from sin as from a serpent that will bite you if you go near it. Its teeth are lion's teeth, destroying the souls of men. Every offense is a two-edged sword. When it cuts, there can be no healing. Violence and arrogance wipe out wealth. So too a proud man's home is destroyed. Prayer for a poor man's lips is heard at once, and justice quickly granted him. He who hates correction walks the sinner's path, but he who fears the Lord repents in his heart. Widely known is the boastful speaker. But the wise man knows his own faults. He who builds his house with another's money is collecting stones from his funeral mound. A band of criminals is like a bundle of tow. He who builds his house with another's money is collecting stones from his funeral mound. That's deep, bro. That's deep. Okay. A band of criminals is like a bundle of tow. They will end in flaming fire. The path of sinners is smooth stones. That the depths. Oh, okay, hold on. The path of sinners is smooth stones. That the end of the depths of neither world. The wise and the foolish differ. He who keeps the law controls his impulses. He who is perfect in fear of the Lord has wisdom. He can never be taught who is not shrewd, but one from shrewdness is thoroughly bitter. A wise man's knowledge wells up in a flood. He and his counsel like a living spring. A fool's mind is like a broken jar. No knowledge at all can hold it. When an intelligent man hears words of wisdom, he approves them and adds them to them. The wanton hears them with scorn and casts them behind his back. A fool's chatter is like a load on a journey, but there is charm to be found upon the lips of the wise. The views of a prudent man are sought in assembly, and his words are considered with care. Like a house in ruins is wisdom to a fool. The stupid man knows it's only as... Let's read this over. I'm kind of lost. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay. A fool's chamber is like a load. A fool's chatter is like a load on a journey, but there is charm to be found upon the lips of the wise. The views of a prudent man are sought in an assembly, and his words are considered with care. Like a house in ruins is a wisdom to a fool. The stupid man knows it's only as inconstructible words. Like feathers on the leg is learning to a fool. This is deep, bro. I'm gonna have to take my time going through this one. So, the views of a prudent man are sought in an assembly, and his words are considered with care. Like a house in ruins is his wisdom to a fool. The stupid man knows only its inconstructible words. Like feathers on legs is learning to a fool. Like a manacle on his right hand. A fool raises his voice in laughter, but a prudent man at the most smiles gently. Like a comb of gold is learning to a wise man. Like a bracelet on his right arm. The fool steps boldly into a house while the well-bred man remains outside. A poor belches through the doorway of a house, but a cultured man keeps his glance cast down. It is rude for one to listen at the door. A cultured man will be overwhelmed by the disgrace of it. The lips of the imperious talk of what is not of their concern, but the words of the prudent are carefully weighed. Fools' thoughts are in their mouths, wise men's words are in their hearts. When a godless man curses his adversary, he really curses him. A slanderer besmirches himself and is hated by his neighbor. A slanderer besmirches himself and is hated by his neighbor. Chapter 22. On laziness and foolishness. The sluggard is like a stone in the mud. Everyone hisses at his disgrace. The sluggard is like a lump on the dung. Whoever touches him wipes his hands, and an unruly child is disgraced to his father. If it be like a daughter, she brings him to poverty. A thoughtful daughter becomes a treasure to her husband. A shameless one is her father's grief. A hussy shames her father and a husband. By both sides she is despised. Like a song in time of mourning like a song in time of mourning, inopportune talk. But lashes and discipline are at all times wisdom. Let's read this again, bro. Chapter 22 on laziness and foolishness. The sluggard is like a stone in the mud. Everyone hisses at his disgrace. The sluggard is like a lump on the dung, for whoever touches him wipe his hands. An unruly child is a disgrace to his father. If it be like a daughter, she brings him to poverty. A thoughtful daughter becomes a treasure to her husband. A shameless one is her father's grief. A hussy shames her father and her husband. By both she is despised. Like a song in time of mourning is inopportune talk. But lashes and disciplines are are at all times wisdom. Teaching a fool is like gluing a broken pot, or like disturbing a man in the depths of sleep. He talks with slumber, who talks with a fool. For when it's over, he will say, "What was that?" Weep over the dead man, for his light has gone out. Weep over the fool, for sense has left him. Weep but a little over the dead man, for it is at rest. But worse than death is the life of a fool. 7 days mourning of the dead, but for the wicked of a fool a whole lifetime. Speak but seldom with the stupid man. Speak but seldom with the stupid man. Be not companion of a brute. Beware of him, lest you have trouble, and be spattered when he shakes himself. Turn away from him when you find rest, and not be wearied by his lack of sense. What is heavier than lead? And what is the name? What is heavier than lead? And what is the name but fool? I'm kind of confused on that. What is heavier than lead? And what is the name but fool? I'm gonna keep going. Actually, let's break this down. We have been reading for 40 minutes, and of course you're gonna break this up in parts. I need to finish this chapter though. I might need to get to chapter 23. But yeah, let's break down this. What is heavier than lead, and what is his name but a fool? Let's look this up real quick. See, since this is confusing me heavily, like I really have no idea on this, we're gonna look this up real quick. Let's ask AI. It's nasty. That's really nasty. What is heavier than lead? And what is the name therefore but a fool? Is a riddle. Answer to the riddle is pen. No, bro, this is not what I'm talking about. This AI fucking up, bro. I'm sorry for my language. Yeah, let me see, bro. purpose? What is heavier lead? What is named therefore, but is indeed part. Sand, salt, and mass of iron is easy to bear than a man without understanding. In this context, a verse is metaphorical, emphasizing the burden of dealing with a foolish or ignorant person. It suggests that dealing with someone who lacks understanding or wisdom can be more difficult than dealing with a heavy physical object than sand, salt, or iron. This passage serves as a cautionary reminder of the importance of wisdom and understanding in human interactions. So it means that dealing with the fool is heavier. It's a heavy burden. That's what we get from that. So we're going to continue to finish this chapter, and we're going to end it off right here, and then we're going to keep going. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep going. You guys can go to the next video. But let's finish. What is heavier than lead? And what is the name but a fool? Sand and salt and an iron mass are easier to bear than a stupid man. Masonry bounded with wooden beams is not loosened by an earthquake. Neither is resolve constructed with careful deliberation, shaken in a moment of fear. A resolve that is backed by prudent understanding is like the polished surface of a smooth wall. Small stones lying in an open height will not remain where the wind blows. Neither can a timid resolve based on a foolish plans withstand fear of any kind. The preservation of friendship. One who jabs the eye brings tears. He who pierces the heart bears his feelings. He who throws stones at birds drives them away. And who insults a friend breaks up the friendship. Should you draw a sword against a friend, despair not, it can be undone. Should you speak sharply to a friend, fear not, you can be reconciled. But contemptuous insult or confidence broken, or a treacherous attack will drive away any friend. Make fast friends with a man while he is poor, thus will you enjoy his prosperity with him. In time of trouble, remain true to him, so as to share in his inheritance when it comes. Before flames burst forth and over smokes, so does abuse come before bloodshed. From a friend in need of support, no one need hide in shame. Let's read this over. Before flames burst forth and oven smokes, so does abuse come before bloodshed. From a friend in need of support, no one need hide in shame. But from him who brings harm to his friend, and will stand aloof who hear of it. Prayer. Who will I set guard over my mouth and upon my lips, an effective seal that I may not fall through them, that my tongue may not destroy me. Okay, so we have finished reading SirAch chapter 22. We're going to end it off here. Go to the next video. We're going to finish off SirAch, this full entire chapter.